Hey everyone, this is Kitty AT38. Um, there is a pinned comment that says, please like the stream. So please do that. I also have a banner that says, please like the stream. Um, I am, uh, I am here. So I have decided that I'm going to do something completely and utterly different than what I normally do. And that is, I am going to be talking about some topics that I am currently very interested in. One of my nice, Alicia. One of my topics that I actually have find very interesting is cults and their behaviors. So we're gonna do a little bit of deep dive on that. If there is a specific cult that I am particularly in, I will go into more deeply. If there's something that everybody else here is fairly interested in, do not hesitate to let me know. Um, I am willing to do that. Okay, so let's start. So the first thing I want to talk about is cults. Where they typically are from. Most people, most cults are from generally from a small group or a person who has a thought of actually starting a religion, a group. What else? Um, like a service oriented group, instrumental group, and mystical. Those are the three the major three. I think there is a fourth one. Just give me a second here. All right. I know I'm so organized. Yeah, basically there is three ideal types of cults, which are positioned: a mystical oriented illumination type, an instrumental type, which is inner experience thought of for its effects, and a service oriented type, which is for a focus on aiding others. Some of these actually typology types of groups analyzed into six groups, which is theologically or theologically, wisdom of the soul, spiritualism. Sorry, new mouth. New New Thought, cytology, and transcendental meditation. Um, so basically, like like Scientology, Children of God, or yeah, Children of God. Um, oh my God, politicist groups like I or IMP or IM yeah. Oh my God, new mouth. I swear. Um, Gothard. That's the one I'm thinking of Gothard. Um, FDLS, Mormonism, the Order. Um, there's, like I said, there's quite a few cults. There's even some in Canada. I the reason why I thought about it was because there was a cult that actually stayed about quite a ways from where I'm from. And this has to do with the cult of QAnon, or what they call it, the Queen of Cult is the other one that they call her. But I think it's also, she is called the queen of Canada, which is not accurate. I can tell you that with a straight face. Um, yeah, obviously it's not our beloved Queen Elizabeth or King James or King Charles. Sorry, King Charles. Um, but I thought it was interesting to actually talk about these because I thought that talking about these would actually benefit of letting people understand how these came to be, where did they originally started from, and where do we go from here. Um, I've been on a binge for Scientology due to the fact that there is Scientologists in Canada. Apparently, there is a Scientology center. Oh, I want to say in Calgary. Yeah, Calgary, which is about 8 hours away from here. But I thought we would go over the Wikipedia and the actual definition from Britannica. So we are going to do this. Just give me 1 second. I am going to share screen, and we are going to go with Wikipedia. Okay, so this is the page for Wikipedia. It says a cult is a group of typically led by a charismatic or self-appointing leader who is tightly controlled, its members requiring unwavering devotion and set of beliefs and practices, which is considered deviant or outside of the norm of society. Most context pejorative term also used for new religious movement or social group, defined by its unusual religious, spiritual, or philosophical through physical, philosophical, thank you, beliefs and rituals. Its most counter interest also being an ongoing source of contention among scholars across several fields of study. Older as an older sense of the word, um, it was mostly religious per se, but again, not necessarily always the norm. Cults are psychological study of religious behavior. Um, there is, I've realized there also is some anti-cult movements, policies and actions from the governments, scholar studies. There's also subcategories too, which is very interesting to say the least. Um, So here is the church and sect continuum. So there is a sect, then it's into. Oh my god! I swear, I know words. Institutional sect, and then there's also the protest, and then the equilibrium, and then denomination, and then church. Here is the cult or NRM, and it goes into denomination. Scientology does have done this on itself, as I kind of remember. Um, Again, I'm not 100%, but it has. I think it has been that way, but again, I can't remember this. I can't remember exactly, but it wouldn't be offhand. Yeah, offhand. Sorry, I'm trying to remember stuff. Like there's also subcategories like destructive cults, like uh, Jim Jones, Jim Jones. Ugh, oh my god! I swear I can speak. I swear. Just don't know if it's English or some other language. Sorry, guys. Okay. Um, I remember Jim Jones had his own particular town in some part of Africa, and everything went to crap. And I think that was during 50s, maybe 60s. Not too terribly sure. Again, it was a long while. And then there's doomsday cults. I heard most. I know there's some Mormons that do believe in the doomsday cult. I can't remember exactly which of it, but I do remember there's some of that. Apocalypse, millennial reference, political cults, uh, like far left, far right. There's different movements here too. I don't remember all of these all off by hand. Unification Church. Oh, right. I remember that one. Unification Church. Now I remember it was they were called the Moonies at one point. I think they were called the Moonies. They don't talk about them very much anymore. I know they've done like multiple different weddings of some sort, but again, it's been a long while. Just give me a second here. Just checking. All right. And of course, the Workers' Revolution Party that was in the UK. Also, there's other groups like the the Democrats Work Party. Wow. Like I said, new mouth apparently. And then there's also the Plymouth groups, like I said, LDS, FDLS, the Order. There was some other. There should be some other ones too that I'm not thinking. I think there's some. Don't quote me. I hate saying this all the time. I think there is some Muslim polygamy. I'm not 200. I'm not like 100% on that. I think there is some, but I'm not really all that. Familiar with it. And of course, there's like some racist cults, like the Ku Klux Klan, the Nation of Islam, and yeah. And then of course there's the terrorists cults like Osama bin Laden, Jim Jones, David Koresh. I just finished watching about Waco. That was kind of scary a little. And of course, like I said, there's some anti-cult movements, like the Christian counter cult movement. There's the secular anti-cult movement. Again, like I said, there is some governmental policies and actions. Like, I guess, and I just read this real quick. Like there's some things that happened in China as well as in Russia and of course the United States and Western Europe. And that's quite a bit of that one. We're just gonna stop the screen on that. But as I said, there is some different like cults and stuff that I'm quite interested in. Scientology is the number one that I'm really interested in. I'm hoping that I can actually do some of that. But there were some crazy ones. Like I said, there was the crazy queen of Canada, and I think they're still in my province, but I'm not 100% sure. I was looking up that for a good minute. So, and we're gonna go with the definition here of Britannica. So let's go with that for the definition in history and facts. All right. So, a cult is usually a small group devoted to a person, yes, or idea or philosophy. Um, the term cult is usually applied to the religious movements, which does happen every now and then. Implications, questionable activities. There is no negative connotations of the use of the term cult per se, which is I find that's kind of weird, but to each their own. Roman cults were heavily integrated into surrounding in society. Like Pompeii was the most lavish, decorated temples that had the cult of Isis. Isis, as in like Isis as the like Egyptian god Isis. Sorry, I'm just taking a quick peek. Yep. Okay. Of Isis. Of the Egyptian goddess. Had a look. People were also paid into the temple. Worship is how it is, and then the political system, which was the dominant political system. Oh my god! Like I said, I cannot speak. Of course, there's the Roman Catholic Church, and of course, they also had Virgin Mary as one of the culty people, and then also there's also the saint cults. Okay, so in recent decades, there is groups designated cults that have those attentions of the rest of society. I am going to grab some water. Like the Seventh Day Adventists and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Most cult leaders are very charismatic, and I'm surprised on that. Most cults are also very isolated from society and they have the emphasis of transcendent spiritual experience. Like Charles Manson, or nope, not Charles Manson. Like, I don't know how to explain that. I think, perfect. L. Ron Hubbard. Apparently, he dropped the body and transcended to planet planet 2, or target 2. Sorry, not planet 2, target 2. I guess Earth was target 1. Anyway, of course, like there was some fairly what's the word I want to use? I don't want to use their words. Fairly large cults, like Jim Jones's cult, the Manson family. I think. I don't know. No, I don't think Scientology started out as a huge cult. I'm not too terribly sure on that. But anyway, there has been some people that have claimed that they were brainwashed. I will not. I will not say that there hasn't, because there has. Um, Take for example of Patty Harris. She was an heiress that was kidnapped by some leftist cult members and got brainwashed and committed crimes. Um, apparently, um, apparently there was no. If I don't know. For me, when I hear the brainwashing thing, oh my gosh, sorry guys. When I hear brainwashing, I tend not to believe it, because because not everybody can be brainwashed. Some people are just plain evil, but that's on me. That's me in particular. Um, like I said, I would say more of, if you were born in the cult, that's a different story, because that's all you knew. Um, there was no alternative way of knowing, especially when you were born in it. But again, like I said, it depends, and there is. I guess I guess there is a part of brainwashing, but I don't know. I'm one of those people, like, it depends on me. Deprogramming is I don't like deprogramming either. I don't like to hear deprogramming. Um, I'm more of the support the victim mentality. Yeah, I think I would say support is more of what I would say. Um, but apparently, a lot of people had been forced had been kidnapped and forced to deprogram, which is kind of eh. I mean, it I guess everything has a good and a bad, and there's some that are just plain evil. Um, yeah, Eh, I do understand about the deprogramming and brainwashing aspects of each cult, but I like the thing of, like, say for example, somebody went to their mom and dad's, and their folks, like, invited a person who just wanted to, like, talk about, like, different aspects of religion, or why they were in that particular program, or not program, but like that particular sect. And then, because I think that is not deep, that is not brainwashing or defective programming or deprogramming. It's more of like putting rational thought into a non-rational situation. Does that make sense? I mean, it is what it is. And of course, there has been studies that suggested that proof of brainwashing has been flawed or based on insignificant data. Um, so again, um, like I said, it depends. I guess it depends on the person and what they consider what it is. Um, okay, and then of course there's new religion. movement or new religious movements, which is kind of cult behavior in my feelings on that. And of course, there's different kinds of different religions and that healing cult. Um, yeah, the Family International. I remember that one in particular, or In the Family, they like to call it. And I think there's some other ones too, but I don't know. Like, again, there's several different kinds of different cults, as I like to say, but again, it all depends on the situation on that. And I guess the the biggest one is uh, this one in particular. Just give me 1 second. Share screen. Okay. What is a cult? Of course, there's 4 different kinds of cults and their common characteristics. Um, this apparently there is a trigger warning on this about sensitive information such as violence and death. Um, Cults have mystified and even terrified outsiders for decades. Like I said, there's a lot of isolated organizations. Um, there's a lot of like people don't know certain cults, and we're just going to learn more about a cult and how to spot one. Of course, what is a cult? The term cult refers often as a group of people, usually a typical belief living in a relative isolation from the world. They tend to censorize around one charismatic person, which is a cult leader, which is ordered to the beliefs, behaviors, and customs of all of its members. Many cults in stand as de facto of new religions or for the followers, but some religious in nature. Um, what does cult actually mean? The word cult means descent. It descends from the Latin word cultus, which is an ancient word from encompassing of concepts of like education, cultivation, adoration. At, at first, it's became like a catch-all term for groups and devoted like a specific subject, like from Pompeii. They were actually worshiping the Egyptian goddess of Isis. I didn't realize that, but yeah. Um, but nowadays, it's becoming like a religious or a more mundane or materialized word for it. Um, in about the last turn of the century, or is it the last turn of the century, or is it the one before? The one before turn of the century, it involved meaning like an orthodox group of zealous or eccentric believers. Still, the definition of cult is somewhat expansive. Oh my god. While its feminists will have these sorts of often destructive movements and bizarre forms of belief, but it can also refer to an ordinary group of people. Like, for example, the Goonies. The Goonies have a bit of a cult following, and there is just a movie. I haven't, I know I haven't really watched the Goonies, but I mean, I guess I could bring something that I can talk about. But actually, might be more up my speed for that. It's kind of like the same thing like uh, Harry Potter. Harry Potter is a very large and expensive universe of books to start off with, and it ended up in movies, and a lot of people have come into cultish behaviors because of that. Now, not all people are like that, but there is some that are very culty when it comes to Harry Potter and its lore. Like I'm more of like a book nerd for that because I love the books. I love the movies too, but I love the books more. The books gave more of a tangent in giving you the reasons why some of those side stories have actually came to be. But of course, in the movies, they kind of cut those out. And I understand for time and stuff, but I mean, I would like to see those. But again, neither here nor there. But I'm just saying, like Harry Potter or the Goonies. Um, Characteristics of a cult are like art. Oh my god, authority control. Like it has to be one person, and they're usually the leader. It like people feel incapable incapable of living an individual life outside of the norms of the group, and it usually goes hand in hand um, towards the one lead, like the leader of the cult. Um, Again, a prime example of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard. Wow. Again, I cannot speak. His cult actually started off with his writings of science fiction, and a lot of people believed in what he said, which is kind of scary in itself. Um, Extremist beliefs. Cult members hold very dogmatic and extreme beliefs. Also, they're unable to question these belief systems without fear of reprisal or punishment from the leader or other group members. A perfect example of that would be uh, the Order. Yeah, the Kinston group actually. They're very more they're very Mormon. They're very fundamental Mormons. They believe in polygamy. They believe in the celestial kingdom, and you had to had at least 3 wives to even be in that kingdom. And there was a lot of this is alleged. There's a lot of abuse in there, and I mean alleged, and I can't say that for certainty because you know how it is. But again, they have one cult leader, and they're very, very old school of Mormonism. Well, not as old school as L, FDLS, but you get the point with that. And a lot of people actually had to escape from those particular cults because it was scary. Um, Hearing some of their stories kind of get to you really, really bad. Um, I, I think that the extremist beliefs and the isolation go hand in hand. Um, Isolation from society, FDLS, are, or they were mostly in um, the creek. I think they call it the creek. Yeah, the creek. Sorry, I'm trying to remember the name of stuff. Like the crick. And I think in Scientology they have 2 main buildings ish. Main buildings ish. I'm saying it very loosely. I know they have more buildings, but I mean the 2 major ones are the flag building that's in Clearwater And the other building is, I think, the one in Hollywood. Yeah, the big blue building is Scientology. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, and that is in Hollywood. Um, the next one is intervention of a single individual. Charismatic leaders are often the center of most cults. The Mason family of the 1960s, as their name suggests, they adopt the beliefs of their leader, like Charles Manson, and fulfill his requests. It's also the same. It was also the same way with, I think, Children of God, or the internet, or the all, or in the family is the other one I think of. I can't remember exactly. Um, once we get to more on these, I'll probably will get into more depth. But those are the ones that I can kind of remember ish. So, anybody's wondering, I am just drinking water. There's like, again, there's 4 different kinds of cults. There's the Doomsday cults, which is um, like Waco, from the what happened in Waco. Um, uh, FDLS was another one that was a doomsday, that had doomsday tendencies. Give me 1 second here, guys. Just hold on. Sorry about that. I am going to. I'm going to go back into this right here. Thank you. Um, okay, we'll just do it this way. Yeah, that works. Sorry about that, guys. Dude Names cults, like I said, Waco. Political cults. Political groups on both on the left can morph into cults. It says the that Jan Cha lyrics. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I'm butchering these things. Um, I know there is. I know there's like the far left and then the far right. They can morph into cults. I don't know any from Political Point, but if anybody is interested, I am more than willing to go and look. Oh my gosh. Where did oh, there he goes. Okay. And then there's the religious cults. There is quite a bit. Start like can go from, like I said, from Scientology to FDLS. Those have done that. I mean, I think most cults are religious, except maybe some, but I'm not too terribly sure. And there's also sex cults for assistance, like NXIVM, They have like a component of sexual abuse, but some focus on sex as their primary functions. Nexium, I heard there was like quite a bit of cult following in Vancouver. Yeah, Vancouver for Nexium, which is very weird, and I don't know why, but anyway. Example of cults in the headline. There have been cults in the headlines like Heaven's Gate, the People's Temple, the Unification Church, Scientology, Nexium. I mean, it is what it is. Why do people join cults? People join cult movements for various reasons. One can be for community and a higher belief. Some had like trouble with backgrounds, difficulty in society. Some had loneliness. Some believed that they had something that was bigger than themselves. And I mean, there's been I know there's some really, really smart people who join cults and they don't realize they've joined it until it's too late. Like I said, mostly the reason why I've been so interested in cults of late is of what's going on down in the States for Scientology, and then the whole QAnon Queen of Canada that happened. Not like quite close to a province that I frequently go to. So yeah. What makes people tick? New human behavior is very vast, and it does take knowledge and skills. Again, to spot a liar and that would be very interesting to know. But yeah, that is that. I'm just gonna go present. Share screen and sorry guys, I am whizzing through this because I'm just curious. And of course there's different articles that I was looking. Oh yeah, why did I pull this up? All right, there's different articles of different results. I don't have no idea why I pulled that up. I'm so sorry, guys. There's also some scary cult stories as well. I don't know if I really want to. I don't know if I really want to read those at the moment. But yeah, there is a video of the QAnon Queen of Canada. If you guys are more than willing to want to watch it, I am more than willing to show it. I did preview it. I will admit that I did preview it. I did watch it. I was trying to figure out why and where this was. So I will do that. So we'll do that. We will watch that one. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Like I said, this is the QAnon. Come on. I went somewhere that I'm not supposed to be. Okay, sorry. Just trying to put sound on. Hopefully you guys can hear that.
Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150. Tough this smart can
Sorry.
only be called F-150.
My biggest concern with the nursing crisis is that critical patients will come in and not get the
Come
proper
on.
care that they need and that they deserve.
Sorry, I hate these
There's
ads.
oftentimes
I am trying not to.
We're one trauma away from having nowhere to put that patient.
Come on.
Our frontline workers see the problems on a daily basis, and we have ideas, but we need a voice.
Brought to you by the Registered Nurses of Saskatchewan.
Sorry about that, guys.
To give the perfect clue,
Muscles.
Flex.
you gotta.
There we go. Okay.
CTV's W5.
I am Her Royal Majesty Queen Romana of the Kingdom of Canada.
A small town held hostage.
She thinks that she has been sent here to save people.
We don't know what they're going to do. They're unpredictable.
While some fall under the spell of its charismatic leader.
It's a digital fantasy. She's a content creator. She's brilliant at it.
Others feel threatened.
Somebody's got to help us out. We're running out of ideas.
You will receive not one, but 2 bullets.
Okay, I will say this straight out, and I'm sorry that I forgot to say this now, or forever hold my peace. There is some triggering moments in this particular video. I am terribly sorry that I forgot all about that. She does talk about unaliving people and talking about some really huge conspiracy theories. And yeah, I forgot all about that. So I'm terribly sorry. I am doing this right now. I forgot to mention this beforehand. So we will continue.
Bullets.
Here is a
Sorry about this, guys.
Welcome to W5. She calls herself the Queen of Canada. Others call her a cult leader. Morella Fernandez enters the bizarre world of Romana Didelot, a woman who set up a compound in Saskatchewan, terrorizing the residents who live in the rural community.
And I will say this now too, and I will say this, where she is at the moment, I do not know. If anybody is really interested in knowing about this, I am more than willing to try and track whereabouts they are and what they're doing and stuff. Oh my gosh. Yeah. All I know is that they were in this small town that they're going to talk about, and they left and then they came back. So I don't know exactly where they might be. So they might still be in the small town or they might not be. I'm not 100%. Yeah. The Cold Queen sums it up.
In Saskatchewan, you can almost always see what's coming. Here in the province's southwest, there are acres upon acres of flat farmers' fields, 20 kilometers east of...
Okay, so like I'm going to say this right now. We have mostly flat land. Up here, there is multiple lakes and there's multiple forests. I think further up, there's There's a mining town called Uranium City. Down here is all the is the border of the states, and where these people are not that far from Alberta, which is pretty scary. I think it's really close to the number 1 border. Don't quote me on that. I think that's what I'm going with. Yeah, just so everybody is aware.
East of the Alberta border, the farmland gives way to a small town, Richmount, Saskatchewan. Once a bustling hub for agriculture, oil, and gas, Richmount is now mostly inhabited by retirees and young families looking for an affordable place to live. With only 120 residents, it's generally...
Okay, here's the other thing too. A lot of these small towns in this place are mostly for older folks, young families, due to the fact that a lot of family, like a lot of these places only have like one source of resources, and most of these towns do become ghost towns, which is pretty sad to say the least, and it sucks. Like, I will say that right now, it sucks. It sucks for these small towns. I wish they could be more flourished, but that's never fair to anyone. And I'll say that now.
Really a pretty quiet place. But in the fall of 2023, all of that changed. Those blaring horns to protest the
Okay, I will give you a little bit of context of what was going on during this time frame. During this time frame, I think Saskatchewan in itself finally opened fully. I remember we ended up opening up fully at this point. That probably from 2019 to probably I would say late 22, early 23. That's when everything started opening up fully. And people can finally go into wherever, not wear masks, that kind of thing. We didn't have a curfew during that time frame. Luckily enough, people actually learned to, stay away from each other. After this, it ended up being the Wild Wild West out here, which is really weird to say that, but that's what it was. When these people came, that's when quite a few places have kind of shook it up. They were originally going to come to the capital city. They decided not to because we basically kind of ran them out of town. We weren't the only ones either. In this, they said Kamsack did too. I just remembered most of the major cities have actually ran them out of town, and I think that they ended up staying here at this particular place, and yeah, I find it kind of sad. Here we go.
expected arrival of this woman, Romana Didilov.
So this woman here is the woman that they're talking about. She is the QAnon queen, they call her, or the queen of cult, or the queen of cult. Which she goes and call herself the Queen of Canada, which is, I think it's just absolutely ludicrous. There was only one queen, and that was Queen Elizabeth II. God rest her soul. And then her son Charles. God save the Queen. Or God save the King. Ugh, not the Queen. Anyway, like I said, this person here is the continuous fraud, and they actually talked about this just before she passed. I can't remember exactly when Queen Elizabeth did pass away. I think she did pass away in 2024. Give me 1 second. I will take a look. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to do a quick England. Queen Elizabeth. Okay, 2022. Sorry, my bad. She died 2 years ago. I thought she died last year, but no, she did not. She died 2 years ago. My bad. Right, I remember now. Okay, yeah, because it's when I was at school they were talking about her. Okay, my bad. She died in 2022. My mistake. Yeah, so she was saying that she was the Queen of Canada, which obviously was a lie. I'm just going to take a quick look and see if there's anybody here. Nope. Okay, it's just me. Alrighty. So here we go.
She calls herself the Queen of Canada.
Which
A
she is.
woman who has crisscrossed the country to share strange and violent messages that promote the murder of police, politicians, and ordinary people.
Yes.
She does this by issuing.
Okay, so yes, she have actually said that she wanted politicians to pass away. She wanted the police to go, and same with the RCMP at that point at the same time. So the RCMP is the equivalent of the CIA and the FBI of Canada. Yeah. Sorry. Or all the other federal agencies except for the IRS, or equivalent of IRS here is CRA. So yeah, that's what she wanted. She wanted the law enforcement, she wanted politicians, and she wanted some ordinary people to unalive, which I find is absolutely horrendous. But that's me.
Her official orders.
Royal decrees that I have issued, basically removing all of the shackles put by the corporation government. I have also said that there is no more politics and no more politicians.
Even though, in one way, I would love to see the politicians actually go to jail, I still think that we should have some democratic agencies here. That's me.
She tells Canadians not to pay their debts.
Queen Romana's in power, and we're not paying any more bills. Utilities are free.
She also pushed.
Okay, yeah. That's not how things work here. Oh my gosh. There's so many wrong things. So many things wrong just from that sentence alone. I would love to have no debt. I would. To be honest, I would. But at the same time, if we had no debt, then we would have amples of money, and then amples of money wouldn't be worth much. So I've been told. Anyway, again, I don't know much about politics. When politics season comes around, I try to listen as much as I can, and it's usually in one ear or out the other. I will say that right now. I find what she's saying is, it's hard to, for me, it's really, really, really hard. I want to say something good about this, but I don't at the same time. Like, I know in my heart of hearts, this isn't right. And I'll say it. And I still think that we should, I think we should have public services, but I also believe that they should be paid. I would love to have no debt, but it also needs, like, if you're doing a profession like doctors and nurses and teachers, like something useful that benefits the society, I think you should be paid for it. But that also means that you should also pay into society as well. Again, for me to say that, man, just, I don't know what to say. Like, honestly, I really don't. I am just flabbergasted of what she says here. And it's kind of like, what do you do at this point? When she goes and says no debt, yeah, it sounds good in theory, but you have to put the work with the theory. And she's not putting the work with the theory, so it makes it no sense. Does anybody understand that? I'm probably talking about nonsense here. Let's just continue.
Pushes conspiracy theories. A favorite?
Yeah.
About the danger of the COVID vaccine.
Oh,
Here's how
okay.
she would punish healthcare.
Okay, this is where the trigger warning is going to come for me and several other people. As a person who worked on the front lines, this is very, very triggering. I have seen what COVID have done to a lot of people. And I get it. Like, a lot of people don't like the vaccine. I get it. But, and for me, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it one more time, I will do what I can to keep the people around me safe. Whether it's taking a vaccine or educating myself on the particular item that's causing the pandemic. I will say this. I have a daughter who has asthma because of COVID. I have a sister who has no immune system as we speak right now. I can see the dangers of not having a vaccine, but I also see some of the danger of the vaccine. But at the same time, I don't care. And I just saw Al just is starting her live. So I think we're going to just stop here tonight. We're going to stop here tonight. We'll continue on through this. Maybe we'll talk more about the QAnon queen at another day. But this is the stuff that I'm interested in. If you guys are more than interested in, please hit the like button. This is something new for me to try. So we'll see how that goes. And we'll we'll see how things go from there. All right. So I'm just going to sign off, and I will talk to you guys next time. Kitty out.